observations on the synchronistic images of Surya, which we see from Maharashtra. Now, just go to the next slide. Uh, yeah, so now imagery of Surya, it is known from at least second century BC. We come across images from Bodh Gaya. Then also in the during the Kushana period, we have images from the Kushana period. We have images from the Mathura region. So a lot of imagery is known from early centuries of the Christian era also. And what is important is that as we know about the imagery of Surya, it is well known that he is shown depicted uh, standing in a chariot driven by seven horses, and he's wearing a North Indian dress, as it is called as the Auditya Vesha, the Northern Indian dress, where he's shown as a tight cloak around the body and having shoes up to the knees, or the shoe or these feet are hidden. They are not shown. They are not displayed. So generally, the charioteer Arun is placed at his feet. So I will not go into these iconographic details of Surya too much over here, but I would just like to say that there are so many differences which we come across in depiction of various other deities across India. But when we come to Surya, we see that there are very minor differences which can be seen in the depiction of Surya. And to delineate them, it is that when we come to northern India, we have the Surya or sun god is shown holding lotuses which are fully bloomed. Whereas when we come to southern India, we have him shown as holding the lotuses which are in bud form. So there are some minor differences. In southern India, we don't find the one striking thing which we don't find in southern India is the presence of shoes. But mostly in southern India, we see that Surya is shown where always accompanied most of the times with Aruna, so that the feet is being kept as a good or it is being hidden. So very few differences can be seen in the uh, depiction of Surya across the entire Indian subcontinent. But yes, definitely we can say that some regional aspects have always come up in within the imagery. Next, please. Yeah, so just trying to give some background that there is some symbolic representation was very important. Earlier we have him on Panchmark coins also. We have some discs also where the wheel or the lotus symbol is being made. So Surya is worshipped in that form. Next, please. That was the earliest thing. And then also we have the cult of Surya worship known as the Sauras. Now it becomes very important in during the time of Shankaracharya, where he talks of Panchopasana. But what we see is that from texts like Bhavishya Puran, which also go to around the same date of uh, 8th, 9th, 10th century AD, we see that these Sauras had become prominent. Rather, entire way of worship had come up of the sun god. And then apart from that, we come across the worship of Surya Narayan in Gujarat. We also have the Magha Brahmanas. The Magha Brahmanas are also mentioned in this in the Bhavishya Puran, in which the story tells us that Samba, the son of Krishna, he got these Magha Brahmanas from the present day the Shakastan, that is the present day Sistan region of Iran. He brought them, and he because he had got this image of Surya which was not being worshipped by the local Brahmanas. So these Magha Brahmanas came and installed this image in the present day Multan region, which is in present Pakistan. So all these stories tell us about that the worship of Surya and it's his cultic nature was quite ancient. Now, when we look at these things, we should also not ignore the fact that worshipping Surya is also known from the Vedic texts, and not only is he invoked in the Vedic hymns, but just next one. But we see that in the Vedic texts, we have him being mentioned as the 12 Adityas. So by mistake, I wrote Surya family. I wanted to write the Surya aspects. So he is worshipped with the 12 different aspects like Dhata, Mitra, Aryaman, Rudra, Varuna, Surya, Bhaga, Vivaswan, Pushan, Savitru, Twashtra, and Vishnu. So all these various aspects, and we get these names in the Vedic texts right from Rigvedic period. And when we come to the Aranyakas, Upanishads, we see that Surya being equated with the Hiranyagarbha, and Hiranyagarbha equated with Brahma and Prajapati. So the aspect of creation also is being linked with Surya in those, even from those days itself. So when we look at the Aranyakas of the Krishna Yajurveda, we come across a separate section which is devoted for Surya. And this background is very essential. Why? Because this uh, section also tells us about the all-encompassing nature of Surya, like how Surya is, or the worship of Surya is the all different paths leading to knowledge, all different ways of epistemology, and smriti, pratyaksha, aitikya, anumana. So all these things are related to Surya Mandala. So all these uh, different paths of knowledge, all the different paths of worship, they are somewhere or the other incorporated in the worship of Surya. And so we see that the imagery and then the cultic formation around the images, it might be a later development, but the conceptual beginning of cultic worship of Surya is quite older in its nature. Next one, please. So, yeah, so Surya also is a part of Navagrahas. Just I have put an image of Navagrahas, and also there is one lintel over here. You can see this is from Odisha. So anyway, so this is all the Navagrahas, and when the Navagrahas, we find them on the lintel in temples of Kalinga art in Odisha. Next one, please. Now I'll just come directly to the subject which I'm going to talk about. This is about the synchronism, synchronism which we can see in the imagery of Surya. Now I'm giving some other earlier examples which are not from Maharashtra, but they're older examples. Like this is from Mehsana. Now over here also we can see that Surya is being shown. We can identify him. He's Surya because of the shoes which we can see in the knees, and he is shown with 8 hands and holding a trident and a nag, a conch and the discus, and also akshamala. And then he is also holding the two lotuses with him. Very interesting is he is shown with Ganesha accompanied over here. Next one, please. Similarly, we also get another synchronistic this synchronism in the form of Harihara Surya. Now, Harihara Surya is where we have Vishnu, Shiva, and Surya all three together, or he is also called as Harihara Arka. Now over here also we come across the all different ayudhas of conch and discus, and also the two lotuses. In the present image, we can see that most of the ayudhas are gone, but if we look at the bottom, we can see that there are the vahanas are being shown, where the bull is shown, the garuda is shown. So it helps us to identify it as Harihara Surya. And again, these are coming from present day central India and Gujarat. Now, this region of central India and Gujarat, uh, where we see that composition of Samarangan Sutradhar, then texts like Rupa Mandana, all these were being getting consolidated in the temple architecture and also sculptures. So we see that they have brought a lot of this the agamic or tantric, and also the other concepts of Puranic thing into plastic art. So that is very important, which we can see, and therefore most probably from this region, that is the uh, present day region of mm, Malwa, and then even the region of uh, present day Bhopal, Hoshangabad, and Raisen, and So all this region up till the Gujarat is the place where we see a lot of syncretistic images coming up, uh, and then getting incorporated into the temple art. Next one, please. Now we uh, get one another image which is there from Ashapuri again near Raisen in Madhya Pradesh. Now it is also Harihara Pitamaha Surya. Now this gives us a proper idea. The earlier image which we saw was having Ganesha accompanied, but over here we can see uh, that Danda and Pingala, both the attendants of Surya, can be seen on both of his sides, and his important deity, the queen, the Radni, who is seated at his feet. And then he is not shown riding a chariot, but he's shown wearing the shoes. So you can see the shoes up to the knees, and then we can see the three heads, and one head is on the rear. So Harihara Pitamaha Surya can be easily made out over here. Now uh, we'll come to the next image. Next one, please. Similarly, we also come across uh, this image from Devas, again Madhya Pradesh, where we have again the same. We can see the Ayudhas, Khatwanga you can see in the left hand, and also Trishula, then the Akshamala and Kamandalu, and we can see the um, lotuses. Now, next one, please. This is the image which is coming from Khajuraho. Now, why I am showing this is because when we look at the image from Khajuraho, it has become quite standardized, where we can see we can see that Surya in the form of Harihar Pitamaha and Arka or Harihar Pitamaha Surya. We can see three heads. One head is on the rear, not depicted here, and we can see a small Arun seated, and the horses chariot is shown. And if you look at the Ayudhas and the attributes, we can see Kamandalu and Akshamala of Brahma, lotuses of Surya, the Trishula and the Naga of Shiva. So we can make out that this iconography was becoming quite important in the temples. And then we come to Maharashtra. Next slide. Now this is from Khajuraho, somewhere uh, in the 11th century, and this is from Ambarnath. Ambarnath is close to Mumbai, uh, present day, very close to the town of Kalyan. And this Shivalaya at Ambarnath was a Bhumija temple. It is a Bhumija temple, and it was uh, constructed in the 11th century. So we have an inscription from there dated to 1060 AD. So it tells us that about the Shivalaya being made by the Shilaharas of the northern branch. So Shilaharas were ruling on the present day Konkan coast, that is the, the region from Mumbai to Goa in western Maharashtra. So over here in the image also we can see that the shoes are being seen up to the knees. Otherwise, the rest of the ayudhas are gone, and then we can also see Danda and Pingal, and we can see, but the Danda Pingal, out of that only the we can see Pingal is on the right side. He is surviving. Otherwise, the other two images on the left are quite mutilated. Then we can see that the Naga in the left hand is, we can see the tail, but otherwise rest all Ayudhas are gone. But because of the shoes and because of the attendant, we can make out that this is the imagery of Harihar Pitamaha Surya. Very interesting is that on the left side, if we see of outside the Deva Koshtha, on the left side as an attendant, we can see over here that there is Bhairav, who is shown in penance form, or Bhikshatana, where you can see all his ribs and hair. So that is one very important thing. We'll come to that later. Next one, please. Now, this is image coming from the Lakshmi Narayan temple at Pedgaon in Pune district. Uh, Sorry, it is in Ahmednagar district, just on the river bank of Bhima. Now, this Lakshminarayan temple at Pedgaon is a temple which is dedicated to Vishnu, though we don't have any image presently in the Garbhagriha, but all the imagery on the exterior of temple we can see related to Vishnu and his avatars like Varaha, Narsimha, and very interesting is that in between the Kumuda and the Kalasha moldings, we can see the entire panels from the life of Hanuman being depicted. So in this, on the rear Bhadranish, we get this image of again Harihara, Pitamaha, and Surya. Now, interesting about this image is that it is only one-headed and not four-headed, and we can see that the two lotuses are being can be seen. Then the Trishul can be seen behind the lotus and the Nag. Other than that, the rest four hands are broken, and the shoes also are not being shown over here. Now, in when the shoes are not being shown and when the Arun also is not being shown, it sometimes we have to make out that whether the importance or the prominence of Surya is there in the image, or whether the other deity is becoming very prominent in this image. So I'll talk about this aspect after looking after, at all the images. Next one, please. Now this is the image coming from Markanda temple. Markanda temple is in Chandrapur district of Vidarbha region, uh, around say 150 kilometers south of Nagpur city, and it is on the banks of the river Wainganga. And over here, excuse me, we can see that we can see the three heads and one head which is on the rear side. Again, Harihar Pitamaha and Surya. Or here we can see clearly the two lotuses. Then we can see the Kamandalu and Akshamala in two hands. Then we can see a chakra over here, and we can see the Sruha, which is related to Brahma again, and the Sruha, the sacrificial ladle, as we call it. And then the two hands are broken. So, but we can see the Trishul, remnants of Trishul behind the lotus. So Trishul was over there, and the other hand might be holding a a shankha. So and below we can see Aruna is seated, and he is driving this chariot of 7 horses. And above him is the on both the sides we can see the Danda and Pingal, and also the uh, Radni or the Chaya Devi, the wife of Surya. Now this image is made with prominence given to Surya over here. Next one, please. So there are again two more images in Markanda. No, previous one. Okay. So there are two more images in Markanda on other two temples over there. Now, very interesting is that Markanda temples is a group of temples dedicated to Shiva, and the main temple, the image which I showed you in the first instance was the from Markanda was from the main temple, whereas these two images are found on the subsidiary shrines. Now, interesting is that these two subsidiary shrines uh, also have the image of Harir Pitama Arka. Now, on the left also we can see the similar image is again being replicated over here, but some Ayudhas can be seen as remaining. The right hand side Ayudhas are all gone, but on the left hand side we can see the Suha, we can see the lotus, we can see the Kamandalu. So generally when we see at the Harir Pitamaha Arka, uh, all the uh, four deities being shown with two ayudhas of each deity. So over here we can see only the four hands holding these kamandalu, the lotus, the sruha, and uh, the over there is the chakra. But otherwise we cannot see on the right hand side anything because it is mutilated or it is gone. But we can clearly make out that again he is shown riding the chariot with attendants Danda Pingala and also his wife, and then Arun seated at the feet. On the right hand side, the image which we can see is completely gone. Nothing of the image is remnant over here. But when we visited the temple 5 years back, when we had gone there, uh, we saw that very clearly that we can see the 7 horses which are still the impression of 7 horses. So we could make out that it is the image of Surya. But when we counted the hands, the impression of the hands, they were 4 and 4 8. So we could make out that it is again Harihar Pitamaha Surya over there. Now next one please. We also come across some other syncretism like Surya and Shiva. Now, the concept is being mentioned in texts as Martanda Bhairava. Now, Martanda Bhairava is being shown as to be depicted with 4 hands, one hand holding the Brahma Kapala, and other hand holding the Khatwanga, and then 2 hands holding the lotuses. This one image on the left hand side is somewhere of the 15th century, 14th, 15th century. But over there, we can see that 2 lotuses are there, and one hand is holding the kapal, and one hand is holding a sword or a dagger. So this is again related to the aspect of Surya Shiva. And then on the right hand side, this is image from Markanda temple only, where we have very unique representation of Surya Brahma. Now in this we can see that he's shown 2 hands are holding the um, lotuses, whereas the 2 hands which are in center are holding the Kamandu and Akshamala. Now at the feet we can see that there are this female attendant, the male attendant on the both the sides, and then Aruna, and then the wife or the Chaya Devi. So this imagery is also very important because we don't come across Surya Brahma on a very common as a common depiction in Maharashtra. Very rarely this is one of the images which I have seen, and one image is reported from Khidrapur. Next one, please. And this is the image of Surya. It is reported as Yoga Surya by Maya Shahpurkar Patil in her thesis, but it seems that this is somewhere or the other Surya Narayan. Why? Because the 2 hands which are in the rear, they are shown holding lotuses, but whereas other 2 hands are on in the Padmasana. Now, Yoga Surya, the concept of Yoga Surya is somewhere or the other again related to it is again related to the form of Surya Narayana. And then on the right hand side, we can see there is one image from the Latur district on the border of Maharashtra and Karnataka. It is the image of Revanta. Revanta is the son of Surya. Uh, like the Yama and Yamuna are born to Surya from Saudhya Devi, and Shani is born from Chaya, the aspect of another aspect of Saudhya, and then Revanta. So Revanta is generally shown riding a horse, and he's accompanied by attendants. He has a parasol, and a dog accompanies him. He is holding a sword, and other aspects of like other aspects of solar divinities are also associated with him. Like sometimes he is shown also with lotuses around him. So this Revanta, now why I'm showing this image of Revanta is because uh, yes, I will not tell how the syncretism is working in Maharashtra and what is coming out of it. Next one, please. Okay, now if we look at the text Sharda Tilaka Tantra in the 14th chapter, the 14th Patala, because there are 24 Patalas in the Sharda Tilak Tantra. Now, these 24 Patalas are related to 24 different forms of the uh, ahankaras which we have, the karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. So all these, and the 25th is about the purusha. So entire tantra is written Deshikendra. So the entire text is inclined towards unification of the sadhaka with his with the deity, or rather with the supreme power, or the, and the entire stress of the entire text is on Advaita. But while going towards this Advaita, there are different various kind of chakras, various kind of yantras which are to be worshipped by the sadhaka in the guidance of his guru. So the initiation and other different things which are being mentioned in that, in the 14th patra or the 14th chapter, in this 41st and 42nd verse, it mentions that वंदे त्वत्पादम चतुस्थयम ब्रह्मा विष्णु शिवात्मकम सौराय योग पीठाय नमः पदमनंतरम. So it means that Saura Pitha is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Everything is coming in that Saura Pitha. So it tells us that, and then Pitha Mantroya Amakyato Dineshasya Jagatpatehe. So this is the Pitha mantra for the Saura Pitha, and you should make a Saura Pitha in that way, and then you should worship the Surya. Now, this verse and this shloka and this thing has been the background of many of the uh, iconographical identification of Haryar Pitamaha Surya. But this verse does not mention about any iconographical traits. It just mentions that how Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva are coming in the Saurapit over there. So in similar way, when we look at the Sharada Tilak Tantra, it has got pithas and worship pattern for various different deities, where all other deities are also invoked. But if you look at the entire 14th chapter, it tells us that in each direction we have to place Surya image only and worship. And along with that, the Matrukas, then along with that, this Dikpalas, Lokpalas, and the Navagrahas, and also the Agni. So that is again worshipping in the form of mandala, which we generally make before any sacrifice or any homam which we have to perform. So they mention about the Saurapit because in that, especially that chapter, the importance of worship of Surya is being mentioned. But however, when we go to the again in the same in the same chapter, when we look at the 66th verse, we see that they have given the mention, they have mentioned the worship of Martanda Bhairav over there. Now, very important is that when we see that worship of Martanda Bhairav in the 71st verse of again the 14th chapter of Sharada Tilak Tantra, they mention that the author mentioned that we adore you, Martanda. How is he? He is redness of the redness of a golden lotus and coral, and he has four beautiful faces with three eyes in each. He is holding a Khatwanga, lotus, a discus, Shakti, a noose, a gourd, rosary, and a skull. And the left half side is of his wife. He is wearing a crown upon his head and a garland. Now, when we see this mention of Martanda Bhairava, we come across that four faces are being shown and 8 hands are being mentioned, and also sometimes 6 hands are also shown, but the left side is mentioned to be of the wife. Therefore, we see that in these images, uh, when the images are being sculpted everywhere, all these images have got the female divinity being shown seated above the Aruna. When we come across other Surya images, we don't see any depiction of the wife of Surya at his, I mean to say, superimposed on his image. We have Usha Pratyusha standing on the either side, the consorts, but we don't see the divinity, female divinity being superimposed directly on the Surya image over there. Now that tells us that over here she is seen in the form of Shakti, and uh, the main concept behind entire imagery of Haryal Pitamaha Surya is again coming from the worship of Martanda Bhairava. And when we look at Maharashtra, we see that all the images are on the temple of Shiva, except for Pedgaon. But at Pedgaon, as I told, the since there is absence of any shoes or any Aruna or any chariot, Surya doesn't seem to be important over there, but Vishnu seems to be important, and uh, he is taking the form of other deities are like Surya and Brahma and Shiva are coming with him. So Vishnu is becoming prominent over there. Rest otherwise in all other temples we see that Surya is being shown as prominent, and he is coming over there in the Shiva temples. So the again the syncretism regarding Surya and Shiva worship and the worship of Martanda Bhairava is very important, becoming very important in this 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th century of Maharashtra. And from that only, we see that the association of the deity known as Martanda Bhairav Khandoba in Maharashtra, associating him with Shiva and Surya comes up from this concept itself. So this is the somewhere or the other the background, and this background is coming from such kind of uh, yogic worship and tantric practices. Now, entire tantra over here, if we look at the other chapters of Sarada Tilak Tantra, we see that they mention of only the unification of the Kundalini Shakti and its unification with the Shiva. So they mention that Shakti and Shiva aspect is being considered very important in the entire tantra of this entire composition. So what is coming out is that the imagery somewhere or the other tries to show the same thing. It is trying to show that therefore it has incorporated in it the female divinity along with the four different aspects of Hari, Hara, Pitamaha, and Surya. So it is not related only to bringing the different cults together. It is not that Shaivism, Vaishnavism, and Saura, etc., only being brought together. It is somewhere or the other trying to portray the concept of Advaita, that is monoism, and its realization on the temple sculptures. Therefore, when we look at Markanda temple, which I told from Chandrapur, we see that all other images which are over there related to Shaivism are most of them, apart from the Samhara Murtis, we have depiction like Yogeshwara Shiva on all the three different Bhadranishes on the top. So this Yogeshwara aspect of Shiva again going towards yoga and tantra is dominating. Why? Because it is somewhere or the other trying the message, or rather the concept is being trying to be portrayed, and trying it is the attempt is that it should spread to the common masses. And how the common masses are worshipping it or following the rituals. So these rituals which we see in the tantra texts, they are again very much simplified and coming up to common level or layman level when we see the worship of various deities in even in the present day Maharashtra. So we cannot say that entirely the tantra text gives us the iconography, but when we look at other texts like Aparajita Prucha, no, Aparajita Prucha uh, again of the coming from this 11th century, 12th century AD, of and from the same uh, what we say from the same geographical region, it tells us Chatur Vaktram Chashtabahum with four headed, eight hands, Chatushkaika Nivasanam, Rugvagato Mukha Karya Padma Hasto Divakaraha. So he should have Divakara should be with the two lotuses, and he should be the main uh, in the center. Khatwang Trishulo Hasto Rudro Dakshinatah Shubha. So on the right hand side, Khatwang and Trishul the Shiva. Kamandalu Chaksha Sutram Aparo Syatu Pitamaha. So then Kamandalu and Akshamala with the for Brahma. Vametu Samsitascha Shankha Chakra Dharo Harihi. So on the left hand side, it should be Shankha Chakra with Hari. So Aparajita Prucha somewhere or the other gives us a clear definition or a clear, rather a clear idea about the iconography, which the Sharda Tilak Tantra, nowhere it mentions the word Harihar Pitamaha Surya, but it has been used as a base for many people who are working iconography to identify the concept of Harihar Pitamaha Surya. But Sharda Tilak Tantra, it tells us about the unification which is there in Surya of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Because the Tantra text is especially for Advaita. And based on such Tantra and Agamic texts only, we come across the later these compositions like Aparajita Prucha and other like Samaranga Sutradhara, etc., which tell us the iconography where an attempt is being made to incorporate such kind of different concepts which tell us about the Advaita or about the unification, how it should be depicted on a temple. So it is not only that we see that there is strong Shaivism in Maharashtra, then there is a very important Bhagavata Vaishnavism which is coming up in Maharashtra. So it is trying to bring both of these aspects together, but then they can be achieved only in the form of Harihara. Then there was no need of incorporating Brahma over there. Then there was no need of incorporating Surya over there. And if you look at the Saura cult in Maharashtra, it was not so strong, though there is mention of, we have inscriptions of the Rashtrakutas and Chalukyas mentioning of Ugraditya. Then there are inscriptions of Shila Aras mentioning of Lonaditya. So there are these different uh, temples which are being there, which are being what we can say, which were established or which were being constructed for Surya. And then there are mention of temples at places like Nevasa and Paithan, and then even in North Maharashtra on the banks of Tapi, where we have, because Tapi is also daughter of Surya. So on the banks of Tapi, we have a lot of Saura centers, which is on the border of Maharashtra and Gujarat. So that was there, but that the cult of Surya, it is not so very strong that there was a need that uh, syncretism should happen just to bring only these cults together. I think the syncretism over here has happened moreover to bring about the concept which is there related to the monoism or the Advaita, which is being put forth by such agamic texts, especially like Sharda Tilak Tantra, to bring it into the form in the plastic art. And that was the reason why we come across this syncretism of Surya images, and we see them especially in Deccan region and central India. And to some aspects, we also come across these images even in other parts of the country. Next one, please. Next one. Yeah. So yeah, I just talked about these things over here. Now, one important thing is that we also get a different image, different imagery, that is Revanta. Now, Revanta, which is the son of Surya, now he is very important when we look at Maharashtra, because the cult of Khandova, which is very prominent in Maharashtra, which is again considered to be the cult of Martanda Bhairava, but this Revanta, he shares the similar iconography with Martanda Bhairava. He is shown, Martanda Bhairava also is shown riding the horse, accompanied with a dog. That is the aspect of Bhairava, and he's holding a sword. Again, the aspect of Bhairava, but he's shown holding also sometimes a kapal, or sometimes he's shown holding a trishul, and lotuses are shown with him, and he is shown lustrous like the sun. And worship of Martanda Bhairava is being performed on Sunday, and Sunday is very important for him, again related to Surya. So it is again the syncretism is also coming in the cult. It is also coming in the worship. So we can see that this thing is also happening in the form of, not only in the imagery, but also coming in the form of the cult during this time. And somewhere or the other, when we look at ancient texts like Shiva Mahapuran, it talks of the Pashupatas and the worship by the Pashupatas over there. The Pashupata worship is very important, and for them worshipping Shiva on again on Sunday, again on the day of Aditya is very important, because Adityatmaka Rudra is the concept which Pashupatas have brought forward. So that again tells us that this syncretism of in the form of Martanda Bhairav, and again its furtherance in the form of Harihar Pitama Surya, has got a big tradition coming from Puranic times, and then the Agamic times, which is coming up in plastic art later on. And also related to Surya Brahma, the Surya Brahma concept, which we can see in only one temple, only two instances in Maharashtra, it is related to Dhata aspect of Surya, because over there Dhata, or the because the female divinity over there is Dhatri, and after 12 Adityas, Dhata concept of Surya is very important when we see the Surya Brahma images. Now this Dhata image coming on the temple of Shiva again tells us that uh, the mm, the concept of like the uh, entire influence of agamas was a lot, while the texts on temple architecture and also the iconography were being composed, because again dhata and the importance of brahma in uh, worship of surya is being mentioned in these agamic texts, where brahma is again equated with hiranyagarbha, and hiranyagarbha is equated with surya. So that syncretism is achieved over there, and he is one who is the creator. So that is why he is dhata. So that concept is also coming in the form of this syncretism, which we can see on the temples. So it is not only that very separate cults or very strong and hard fast rules were there by for various cults to be followed, but it was also these various different ideas which were there, these various different philosophies which were guiding the thought, were also coming up in plastic art, coming up in sculptural art, in sometimes coming up in murals also, and they were trying to put forth or place such concepts before the common people. Okay, thank you.